Touring car racing here at Macau is about to get underway for a hugely prestigious part of a Macau Grand Prix racing weekend. It is for the Macau Gear Race. It is also the final round of the year for the TCR World Tour. And as you can see, we have a very warm day indeed. Clear skies, beautiful blue skies here at Macau. Sunshine, and it's going to get hotter and hotter as the morning goes on. The second race of the weekend with Norbert Mikulits leading the TCR World Tour by with 428 points, from Rob Huff on 410 points, 18 points behind from Jan Elaché in third place. That's the driver standings as we go into the final round of the year. At the moment, it is advantage to Norbert Mikulits, who took the win yesterday around the streets of Macau. Let's have a look at some of the greats of touring car racing from around the world that have taken the title of the winner of the Macau Gear Race. Over the years, the likes of Ivan Muller, Alain Menu, Andy Priaulx, Joe Winkelhock has won here. Emanuele Pirro has won as well. So many top drivers around the world, and thumbs up down on the grid ahead of the start of this race. And we are very soon about to see the cars lining up on the grid. Already the personnel are down there, all of the glitz and the glamour of this event already there. And if we add to the names of the greats that have won the Macau Gear Race, let us add this man, Rob Huff, second in the championship heading into the final round of the year, and an absolute expert around the streets of Macau. He's won more times here at Macau than anyone else in a touring car. He is truly exceptional. This weekend, suggestion perhaps that the car is not quite on the pace of the front-running cars, but it's not far off. And with Rob at the wheel of the car, anything could happen in this finale here in the sunshine at Macau. But advantage in the championship most certainly held by the winner from yesterday, Norbert Mikulits, 18 points ahead at the front of the field. But at Macau, anything, David Anderson, can happen.
And it is going to very shortly. Not only is it a coveted touring car race in isolation, it is a championship deciding race as well. It's a two-way title fight now. It was three yesterday, but Jan Elaché out of the title fight. The Link & Co's struggling for pace a little bit, but so too the Audi. And the fact that Norbert Mikulits comes into this with an advantage of 18 points in the championship certainly puts him in the pound seat. But it's a semi-reverse grid race, so we will start now 10th on the grid.
And that's a quite painful number to reverse, isn't it?
Well, it is, and it also, around here, absolutely puts you in jeopardy. So it is not inconceivable that Rob Huff could be the champion. It's going to be tough. There's no question about that. It's going to be tough, but it could be done. But some of that is not just down to Rob's ability, and we know that he is extraordinarily brave around here and knows how to be incisive and opportunistic early doors to make the passes. But he could also do with Norbert Mikulits getting into a little bit of strife, couldn't he?
Certainly could, yeah, but as we've said, anything can happen. And one thing we are assured of around the streets of Macau, it won't be a dull race, that's for sure.
Part of Rob's championship disappointment, if you like, was in qualifying. He was held up by Mikko Lashkina, teammate to Norbert Mikulits. Read into that what you will. Rob said, I don't think they were playing a game. He said, if I thought there was something political about it, I would probably leave the paddock. And he was being quite sanguine about it. But he did make a valid point. You get points for qualifying. So Ashkina, who had out-qualified him, was given a penalty of a grid drop, but kept his qualifying time and therefore kept the points. And Rob, not moaning, but saying, maybe we need to have a look at that for next year, which is understandable. Ted Bjork, good to go, with the redoubtable Paul Ridgway, his engineer, leaning into the car. Paul, who's, in touring car terms, been there, done it, and got the T-shirt.
And we get the chance to hear from some of the top drivers down there on the grid, and Paul Jeffrey is our reporter down on the grid.
Hello everybody and welcome to a very intensely charged grid here at Macau. Jan Elaché, you've got a lot of work to do this afternoon. How are you feeling? What's the plan?
Yeah, we got a lot of work to do after the Yeah, the start yesterday was not great. Was a bit more grip than we expected. So the initial jump was good. Then we bogged and we lost a lot of places and a lot of points. But it's not over. Mathematically, it's still possible. So I will try to focus doing a good race. I have nothing to lose, so I will go for it definitely. But yeah, it will be tough. But to be honest, racing here in Macau, still playing for a title at the last race, honestly, it's just pure joy. And yeah, we secured the team champion already. So that's a good prize for all the team that they really deserve. So that's one tick. We hope to get the second one with a bit of luck.
What's the target off of the start then? You've got one of the main rivals in Rob Huff directly in front of you. First lap's going to be critical.
Yeah, it's gonna be. He's not a Macau rookie, so for sure it's gonna be tough. But I hope of doing some good races and enjoying the city. I mean, we are racing in Macau. We are very lucky to be here. For sure, we will go for it. But yeah, my main focus now is to do a good start, catching some position, and we count at the end.
Fantastic. Best of luck, Jan. Thank you for your time. Right, let's have a little walk further up the field and see if we can find Rob Huff, that is starting just ahead of Jan Elishay on the grid. In fact, before we do, let's have a word with Detlef. Detlef Schmidt, big day today for you. How's the team feeling? What's the mood like?
Yeah, very, very excited. The heart rate is in the red area. And yeah, let's Macau decide it.
Absolutely. We know Rob's good round here. What's the plan off the start?
To be in front.
I like that enthusiasm. Best of luck. Thank you for your time. So Rob Huff indeed has a big day ahead of him. We seem to have lost him from the car. So let's have a little walk down here. In fact, he's talking to Frederik Vervish, his teammate. Maybe a little bit of team planning on us there. Rob, could we grab a quick word, sir? How are you feeling ahead of the race?
Yeah, great. I mean, just nice to be here. Grand finale in Macau and, yeah, fighting for a world championship, so very happy.
Fantastic. And what can you do from here?
I mean, let's wait and see. We've got plenty of cars ahead of us. We've got the other two rivals behind us. So head down, try and get a good start and see what unravels.
Appreciate it. Best of luck. And there we go. That's it from the grid. Let's get back to our commentary teams.
And good to hear from Rob Huff ahead of this final race of the year from the TCR World Tour. And bit of a tradition here on the World Feed English language commentary to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I've lost track of what the time will be back in the UK, but Rob's family have been a huge support to Rob throughout his career. So mum and dad, Peter and Kate, and his sister Francesca, all will be watching, all will be tuned in. They don't miss a single second of Rob Huff on any circuit. If they can be at a track, they are. If they can't, they tune in, whatever the time scale.
What is it? It's approaching 2:30 in the morning back in the UK,
They'll be
isn't
up.
it? So, yeah, coffee at the ready, I'm sure. Yeah.
Coffee and Ovaltine later.
Wavy the Peacock in the background you caught a glimpse of. He has also come to the grid. He's looking for a drive, I think, for next year, but Wavy is surrounding some of the cars as you look at the pole car of Santiago Urrutia. And it's going to be Ted Bjork's Link & Co. on this semi-reversal of the top 10, lining up alongside. There is Ted Bjork, the Swedish driver, who was a sports car gun before he switched to touring cars. About 2 decades ago now he's in sports cars. The Cyan Racing run Link & Co.'s. And third on the grid, John Filippi. Now John and Fred Vervish on this grid, both ahead of Rob Huff. 2 sacrificial lambs, you could argue. They need to help Rob here, don't they? They need to get out of his way early on and let Rob go forward. I'm sure Rob will make a demon start anyway, but it does help him a little bit that 2 of the cars he's got to overtake are in his team.
Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating one to watch unfold around the streets of Macau over 9 laps. So 2 races this weekend, each of them of equal length. As we make our way down the grid, we're looking at Fred Vervish's car, and Fred Vervish making the most of the build-up to Macau. He was with Rob Huff, in fact, with his teammates. He was in the Macau Grand Prix Museum, which is a super visit. If you come across to Macau, well worth taking the time. It's on multiple floors for the various different disciplines of racing. So touring cars have got their own floor, and Fred Babiche was found enjoying the simulator on the motorcycle floor. And it's quite interesting to watch, actually, that somebody that is a top driver, a world-class driver, getting on something that's a little bit different to what he would normally. And when he got off, he was very complimentary of the member of the public that he was racing against, and it was really nice to watch. A day off ahead of the competition.
Fred Babiche has been a loyal Audi servant in touring cars and GT cars, former single-seater racer. So there is Rob Huff then. He is going to start this race from 6th on the grid. And he knows exactly how to win at Macau. He knows where you can pass, where you need to be a bit more respectful, and he also knows that John Philippi and Fred Verviche directly ahead of him will help his quest to become the first Kumho TCR World Tour champion. That's Nestor Girolami. He had an electrical gremlin in qualifying, but raced really well yesterday to finish in 2nd place. It was Norbert Miklish, the winner from Girolami, from Huffy yesterday, the top 3 on the podium, and there is Jan Erlaché, 8th on the grid, Alan.
Yeah, and it was good to hear from Jan down on the grid, because what he said about, well, if it's still mathematical, there's still an opportunity, and I'm going to be going for it. So quite right too.
There aren't many people that race at Macau that say their mum raced here. Some say, yeah, my dad raced at Macau, but Kathy Muller, Jan Erlaché's mum, was, I think, 5th in the very first year of Formula 3 back in 1983 in the Elf racing run route. There is Mikkel Ashkener, who lines up 9th on the grid, and I think he also will quite swiftly drop in behind his teammate Norbert Miklish to, again, help him up the order. And also, of course, Jan Erlaché with a multiple champion, British touring car champion, a world touring car champion, a multiple ice racing champion, Ivan Muller, as an uncle. And it was quite cool, actually, just a few years ago when uncle and nephew were walking back to the hotel after the on-track action every day to see Uncle Ivan, one of the world greats in touring car racing, and one of the coolest, calmest characters you could possibly hope to meet. Seems to run in the family, doesn't it? Yes, indeed. But Norbert Miklish was pretty cool yesterday, reflecting on a good win and what he has to do today. I mean, he comes into this with an 18-point advantage, which is significant. It, as we keep saying, is not totally irreversible, but it's certainly going to be tough for Rob. If you're going to make me go for a prediction, I'll say Rob to win the race, but Norby to win the championship. But let's see how wrong we can be.
That's not bad. That's not, pretty much where my mind was going as well. But I think we are going to see, without doubt, a very determined drive from Rob Huff, because he's one of those drivers that if there's a chance, he'll be going for it.
Just saw Jason Balwana's son Ben with the Peugeot, the Teddy Claret built car. That is Marco Butti, who's come from TCR Italy. He had an engine change earlier on in the weekend, and that put him at the back of the grid yesterday. But he battled his way into 11th spot in yesterday's race. And then you get to the drivers that qualified out of last week's TCR Asia Challenge, and the best of those is number 1, Lo Se Ho. He lines up 13th on the grid ahead of Yan Chuang. Lo Se Ho is a very quick driver in, if you like, local company, up against the drivers from the World Championship, the World Tour. He's not been as quick, but he's held his own, I think. He's given a good account of himself.
They all have, actually, to bear in mind that they are not as experienced as the world-class drivers that we have towards the front end of the grid. However, they are a very welcome addition, and a quite right addition to the Macau gear race. Just to compete in this race is something very special, and when you see the class and the quality of drivers that we have competing here this weekend, it must be a privilege for them all to be on the grid. The grid, which is now being cleared. Just a little update on Wavy the Peacock that was down there. I don't think they quite measured up the dimensions. It's a fairly narrow gap to get back into the pit lane, and Wavy the Peacock had to be squeezed through the hole. I'm pleased to say that the tail feathers are intact.
Excellent, because peacock wrangling is very important for the information flow about the Kumho TCR World Tour. It even has its own regulation about the ride height and the width of peacocks.
It's all part of it, isn't it?
It's all part of the theatre of Macau, exactly. And there's so much colour, and it is a wonderful atmosphere that we have for this Final touring car race of the weekend, the final race for the Kumho TCR World Tour, the event of Macau, the Macau gear race. Green flag lap is underway. You can see the grid scrolling through. Santiago Urrutia and Ted Bjork at the front. It's a one-by-one staggered grid, of course. Ahead of John Philippi and Fred Verviche, Marc Chinquois and Rob Huff on the next row. Row 4 is Nestor Girolami and Jan Erlaché from Mikkel Ashkana and Norbert Mikelish. Then Ben Baguana and Marco Butti ahead of the TCR Asia qualifiers, Lo Se-ho and Yan Chang. Paul Poon, he's got a good strike rate around here in the road sport type races, and the Macau Touring Car Cup. Tian Kei alongside, and then it is Deng Bao Wei, who we think's had an engine change and has therefore been put to the back of the grid. He will be the last of the, what have we got, 17 that are going to go racing here for the Macau gear race. Alan's touched on some of those great names that have won it, and that's where you stand in the championship. 18 points between Norbert Mikelish and Rob Huff, but bear in mind it's 30 for a win, 25 for second, and points in the top 15, so there's as much to look at on the track as there is on the abacus.
Right, a bit nail-biting for drivers, teams, supporters around the world as we weave the cars to get heat into the tyres.
But that again is a regular thing, isn't it? Whether it's been the World Touring Car Cup, whether it's been the World Tour, whether it's been the old World Touring Car Championship. You know, the gear race started off as a one-off race purely at Macau. Then it became part of the World Touring Car Championship, and it reflected the importance of that series. You know, go back into the 1980s, even through the 90s, it was a one-off grid that would come here from far and wide, but it's always had a mega entry, and fascinating drivers and fascinating entry lists have been a feature.
Touring car fans around the world tune in for the start of this race, the final rounds of the year for the TCR World Tour, first year of TCR World Tour, a format of touring car racing that has taken off around the world, in every corner of the world as well. There are a lot of TCR cars available to race in every corner of the globe, and very successful TCR championships take place around the world as well.
It's going to be a little bit like a game of chess, this, isn't it? Because not only have you got that fight between Huff and Mikelish, and to a lesser degree Erlaché for the championship, but you've also got what the teammates are up to and where they are positioned to either help their teammate or hinder the others. So there's going to be an awful lot of strategy calls, I would have thought, from the pit wall, because it's all very well, taking an example, John Philippi letting Rob Huff through, but then he's got to get back into the train and make the car as wide as possible and perhaps as slow as possible to hold up Norbert Mikelish, as an example, who's trying to come through the pack. So how the teams orchestrate all of this to give their championship hopeful the best chance will be really interesting.
And opportunity before the final race of the year for a quick team shot down in pit lane, and then it's on with business around the Macau hairpin, on board with Rob Huff. Couldn't pick anybody better to be on board with around the gear circuit.
And from Audi Sports' point of view, Rob in the Comte Racing RS3, you know, he's the person you want in your armoury when you come here. Because if anybody is confident around here, if anybody has a strike rate, it's Rob. So yes, he's probably the man to beat for the race, but how the championship's going to pan out to an extent might be out of his control.
Still gets nervy before these races, despite the absolutely immense record that he has around the streets of Macau. Still gets nervy and still breathes in, holds his breath around Mandarin, which he reckons is just one of the most awesome corners you could possibly hope to drive in a touring car.
So to the grid comes Santiago Urrutia, with Ted Bjork lining up with him at the front. Drivers trying to urge the warmth into that Kumho rubber. John Philippi and Fred Verviche, then Rob Huff's teammates in the Audis on the second row. But of course that front row, they are going to try and help if they can Jan Erlaché. Of course Erlaché starting as the fourth of those Link & Co's on the grid. It's been a really tough few weeks for the teams. They've had back-to-back weekends in Australia and then have come here. So it's been a long part of the World Tour for them. But it's all coming down to the wire in this last race, and where better than the Macau gear circuit. The last driver in place will be Deng Bao Wei, and there into position is championship leader Norbert Mikelish. It is 9 laps for the Kumho TCR World Tour event of Macau. The Macau gear race is about to get underway. Green flag shown at the back of the grid. That means everybody is present and correct. Then the drivers look towards the lights. 5 red lights will go on. We wait for the lights to go out. now, and a good getaway is made by Vervish, and a bad start by Rob Huff. Jan Ellershey gets up alongside him. Rob Huff slow away, and we've had contact, I think, in the background. Paul Poon's car has picked up damage, but as they storm down towards Lisboa for the first time, it is going to be from pole position Santiago Rutia up front, with in second place Bjork, and elbowing his way to the front Fred Vervish. He gets up in a second. Here comes Huff on the outside line.
Here comes Huffy around Mandarin on the run down towards Lisboa.
One in the wall, big shunt straight away. We had a Lincoln Co getting sideways. I think that's Deng Baowei's Honda that's come to grief, but as they drop down to Lisboa, Huff in fourth on the tail there of Bjork.
He's got to do this early on, and you're right, he was not so quick off the line, but he's made up for it, hasn't he? Goodness me.
Yeah.
We also had notification that there was a yellow flag at turn 23 before the race got underway.
Because that was with a slow car on the grid. In fact, it's not got away. I think it's Paul Poon's car that looked like it had got damaged. So there it is. You can see
Wow.
He's got a broken front right corner. So somebody has glanced off him at the start of the race. So that's why there's a yellow to warn them if they can't get the car out of the way. It's still on the pit straight. There was more drama, as we saw, though, coming out of Mandarin, and it did look as though that was the car possibly of, is it Ben Barguana, in fact, that hit the wall? It is. That's the Peugeot, isn't it? I thought it was Deng Baowei's Honda, but no, it's a Peugeot, it's Ben Barguana, so that's a big disappointment, and that, I fear, will be a safety car.
It will, and I think the car of Paul Poon might take a little bit of moving as well, because the front wheels were very deranged. The marshals are in place down there on the starting grid, but that car is going to require being up on the dollies and urged to go into pit lane. The safety car is deployed in order to clear those two cars away. So, yep, not surprising really. Let's talk about Rob Huff, shall we? Slow off the line,
Yeah, odd that.
but somehow managed to be a projectile to get up into fourth place.
I think he just got a very good run through Reservoir and then got into the draft on the way down to Lisboa. Fred Vervish was elbowing his way into the pack, and that opened the door, really, for Rob to come charging around the outside. Safety car is on track, and the safety car will come through the pit lane in order to enable the marshals to work that little bit more effectively to get Paul Poon's car off the road. But we've got two incidents, as you saw, one at the start, and then Ben Barguana hitting the wall. So they're trying to swing Paul Poon's car off the track, but I'm intrigued to know who hit him. It can only have been Deng Baowei, surely, but then coming out of Mandarin, that was a big whack into the wall for Ben Barguana. A lot of damage is down to the Peugeot, and that's a shame, because Ben had a really good weekend up to that point. And there's his dad in the background with the sunnies on, Jason Barguana looking on and on the radio, making sure that Bargs Jr. is okay.
So, interruptions straight away in our final race of the year for the TCR World Tour.
We got through yesterday without, I think.
I know we did, and we've just had a couple of more local races here at Macau, one for fairly standard cars as well. The other safety car through the pit lane, so the cars will file through pit lane now to allow the marshals to deal with Paul Poon's car. And we're going to replay of exactly what happened, see if we can get a better view of this. So, off the start, just see how Rob Huff's car is reluctant to get away. Jan Ellershey gets alongside. Good start in turn from the front row.
And it was Lo Se-ho who stalled, and as Paul Poon accelerated around him, misjudged it, hit the back, broke his own suspension. So he wasn't hit, he did the hitting. And look, Huff here on the outside got a toe off everybody, then they moved out of his way, and job done. Round the outside into fourth place, and then bang, one of the Lincoln Co's hit the wall, and Ben Barguana behind did the same thing. Was that Ellershey that smote the wall, or Marcin Hua? I think it might have been Marcin Hua, but anyway, the real casualty was Ben Barguana. I'm surprised the Lincoln Co got away with that. That was a hit and a half.
It was, yeah. Well, Jan Ellershey said before the start of the race that he was going to be a determined drive in this final round of the championship. In with a mathematical chance, he's going to be going for it, and going for it he was.
Deng Baowei goes through the pit lane at the back of the queue. Lo Se-ho did get going then, despite the fact that he bogged down on the grid, so they're back on track. But now coming down towards Mandarin, and then they'll have to go past Ben Barguana's Peugeot.
So this is a critical part of the race. So early on in the race, they've got heat into the tyres to take the start of the race. They now need to try and maintain that heat as much as they possibly can. And as they go past that stricken car being recovered, they thread their way through rather slowly, sedately, and then you can power down and get on with the business of heat cycle into the tyres. I love these shots on board. Gives a totally different perspective of the gear circuit. Also gives you a great idea of how close those barriers are all the way around. This is the widest part of the circuit. It's the dual carriageway parts of the gear circuit. Even during the course of racing over a weekend, it's normal public roads from 6 o'clock in the evening till 6 o'clock in the morning. And then we are gifted the circuit for motorsport, this festival of motorsport that happens once a year here in Macau. And what a privilege it is for the drivers and for the fans to witness every form of motorsport. Bikes, touring cars, GT cars are coming up next. World-class GT drivers. And of course, the return of FIA Formula 3 to Macau as well.
And the Grand Prix, looking forward, is going to be just outstanding. Ben Bargwanna's car is off the road because the track is clear also at the last corner R bend, turn 23. The safety car will be able to use the track next time around, and maybe one more lap behind. Just depends how much liquid has been put down there. That's what's being addressed now. They'll have a quick look at the barriers as well. But we are about to come through with laps being added on with the safety car like this. So we're now up to 10 laps with the safety car, and I suspect we might go to another one after that.
Yep, I think you might be right, and not the most ideal start to the race, but you need to keep your concentration now, keep your wits about you, and just get on with the business of weaving the car at every available opportunity. And this is a tight part of the circuit. There's barely the room to weave the car to keep heat in the tyres. But you can give it a little wiggle, and that does all the difference. Police and Moorish, two right-handed corners, quick one another on the gear circuit, and then leads on to the slightly more sweeping left-hander at Donna Maria. Tightens up on the exit, and then the run down the hill towards the Melco hairpin. So heading down the hill, this is where the circuit will open up. They can really begin to explore the circuit. Gets wider, becomes dual carriageway, and becomes incredibly quick part of the circuit as well. So we've not yet had a full racing lap under the control of the safety car, but they know what's going to happen here at Macau. This is inevitable. No run-off areas anywhere around the circuit. I suppose the only exception to that is the escape road down at Lisboa. You could, if you know the corner is not going to work quite right, you can elect to go down that. It's then not easy to come back on the circuit.
Yeah, you need to quickly spin turn the car around, don't you? So another lap completed by the safety car, and getting a replay of the start from looking back from Jan Erlache's car. Made a good start actually, got ahead of Girolami as well there, and currently running in 6th place. Norbert Mikelish down in 9th at the moment as the cars came out of reservoir. Girolami then on the attack, and he was getting a tow off the Link & Co just up alongside. Now, was it Erlache that hit the wall at Mandarin? We're about to find out. He was on the outside line. He goes ahead of Ma Xinghua, and yes, it was Erlache that bounced off the barrier. For that car to still be in the race, not to have had a huge off as a legacy of that, is utterly extraordinary.
It was a good spot, David. Well done. It was, yeah, they're built pretty strong, these cars, aren't they?
Yeah.
These TCR cars, but yeah.
How many times have you and I seen touring car races where an innocuous touch does something to the suspension?
Yeah.
I mean, how that has got away without breaking something in that left rear corner, extraordinary, really is. Erlache is very, very lucky, to say the least.
Yeah, when you say bounce off the barrier, these barriers don't have much give in them.
No,
They are incredibly solid barriers for obvious reasons, to protect everyone around the circuit and all of the course workers. There are a huge amount of marshals here. There's a huge amount of spectators here as well. These are very, very strong barriers right the way around the circuit. Safety car is going to come in this lap, so this is good news. We're going to be back to racing. And as we go back on board, the pace will begin to speed up just a little bit now on this section of the circuit, and once they've got around the Macau hairpin, will speed up that much more when the safety car is due to come into pit lane at the end of this. Glimpse of Rob Huff heading down towards the left-hander at Teddy Yip. Teams are ready. Gabriele Tarquini is ready, and one of the greats of touring car racing. Brings a smile to that. You're smiling. You see Gabriele, you smile.
Absolutely, whether it was Alfa Romeos or Hondas or Hyundais or his passion for English football.
And coffee in the pit lane.
Coffee in the pit lane, yes. The espresso machine that was suddenly brought to the touring car paddock by Gabriele Tarquini because he had to have proper coffee when he went motor racing.
And you could smell the coffee all the way down the pit lane.
They're the Link & Co technicians, Paul Ridgway, the bespectacled bearded engineer nearest to you there as you were looking into the garage, splitting his time between Ted Bjork's car in this and then on his weekends off, as it were, for Speedworks Motorsport in the British Touring Car Championship, where he looks after Ricky Collard. I use the phrase looks after advisedly, but there you've got the view from Jan Erlache's Link & Co, and we're going to go racing this time, so that run to Lisboa yet again is going to be absolutely crucial, isn't it? And Fred Verviche here, let's see what he can do, because he really needs to somehow fall behind Rob Huff without losing a place as well to Ted Bjork. So this chess game of positioning everybody in the right place to help their championship hopes is about to be rejoined.
It certainly is, yeah. A very high-speed chess race about to get underway with no run-off areas. Rob Huff not weaving the car on the run down towards the start of this race. The trigger is pulled and we're about to get things underway as soon as the Lamborghini safety car pulls off into the pit lane, stays left on the circuit, and the race is about to get back underway. Green flag.
Over the line comes the race leader, Santiago Urrutia. Verviche is there in second place behind him. Third is Bjork, fourth is Huff. Small gap back. John Filippi doing what he's meant to do. Delay the opposition, let Huff go and see whether he can get himself up from fourth place. And he's about to make a move, isn't he, down to Lisboa? Because look, Huff now in the wheel tracks of Ted Bjork. He's in the tow as Nestor Girolami has a look to get past Marche Croix. Down to Lisboa, there are the leaders, third and fourth. Actually, Huff's just dropped off the back ever so slightly.
Not close enough, is he? Not close enough. He takes the line on the middle of the road, heading down towards Lisboa, but not close enough. There's a battle for the lead as well as they head in and they slot in single file through Lisboa. So it's not going to happen this time down at Lisboa. What happened to Rob? He did just drop back, didn't he?
I think that's been the pattern of the weekend, though. Those Audis just don't seem to have that last tenth, and it was the same yesterday. We kept expecting things to happen, and they didn't. So again, the Audi tries to push on. He's on the back, of course, of the traffic going up the hill through the faraway S's element, but John Filippi behind him, keeping Jan Erlache at bay. Mikulic is ninth to Huff's fourth at the moment.
So John Filippi has put in the overall best on the first sector of this lap, and that's in the process of the battle going on behind the battle for top four, and the battle for the top four places kind of split off into two pairs at the front of the field. They are now a little bit closer in contention. Rob Huff can close right up on this twisty section of the course, so much more on the tail of Ted Bjork's car in third place.
At the moment, Huffy has reduced that 18-point deficit to 10. Now, he's got a teammate up the road that can help him. He's also got his own ability to get past cars as well. Mikulic is down in ninth. He's ahead of his teammate, the only driver that can help him. So any progress Mikulic makes from here on in, it has got to be on merit.
On his own.
Yes.
Yeah. So he needs to press on, the race winner from yesterday, and so too does Rob Huff have to press on. They go around the Macau hairpin. Now this is the opportunity to set up an overtake. Down through the sweeps of Black Sands on towards Fisherman's Bend.
Just not quick enough, though, is it? The car just seems to lack that final tenth, as we keep saying. And Verviche, likewise, needs to try and somehow get ahead of Urrutia and then stack them all up and let Huff get through the traffic. But he doesn't have the pace. Even though these Link & Co's have got 40 kilos of success ballast aboard, they're still looking quicker than the Audis right now.
Looking pretty good, aren't they, the Link & Co's, as the race leader comes across the line. 4 laps completed now. Let's see who's going to be putting in the fastest lap of the race. It was John Filippi on that restart lap, so a 2:39 for John Filippi in 5th place. But what about the run down towards Lisboa? On board with Jan Erlache. Fred Verviche having a little look there. in second place. Having another little look as well. This is pacey between the two of them on the run down towards Lisboa. Fred Babiš is close enough, isn't he? Needs DRS.
He's close enough, but not on the way in. He's got to try and pounce on the way out of the corner, but the Lincoln coach just seems to have better drive off that right-hander. They bunched up behind, though. Björk and Huff are a little bit closer, and John Filippi in 5th has done the fastest lap of the race, but he is still doing what he's meant to do, and that's keeping El Lachet and the rest behind.
Look at the battle for the lead, though, on the tight and twisty section. All Fred Babiš needs is a tiny little error. There was a little wiggle there for the race leader, and therefore right on the tail now is Fred Babiš. Now, what can he do on this section of the course? It's where it's at its tightest, and you've got a grandstand view of the battle for the lead from Rob Huff there in 4th place. They have all closed up. All they can hope for is a tiny little error.
Absolutely right. Vervish then crawling all over the back of Urrutia as they went up the hill, but he's dropped away just a little bit. So that now means that he's got Ted Björk closing on him, and Rob Huff in 4th spot. And again, they'll all concertina as they get to the Melco hairpin. Coming out of police now, heading up towards Moorish. And then on to Donna Maria, that next left-hand hairpin. That's Moorish. So Fred Babiš has fallen back a couple of lengths, but he can make that up under braking, I would have thought, for Melco. Urrutia is driving a very good race, though, at the moment. He's been under pressure, but now Babiš still needing to claw back the lost ground.
One tiny little error for the race leader on this lap. Not enough to allow Fred Babiš, and now has pulled away a little bit at the front as they head down from the Melco hairpin.
Is this a change of plan? Instead of Babiš going for the lead, is he now trying to stack up Björk behind him and let Huff get past the pair, and then he can have a go at getting after Urrutia? Because even if he can't get him, it's better that Rob is 2nd than 4th, isn't it?
It may be. So yeah, that may well be the case.
The game of chess might be changing here.
Yep, you're right. And you should get a job working for a team on strategy for a race. That's
perish the thought. No.
That's utterly brilliant.
Well, it's not happened yet, so I might be wrong. Over the line they go. Urrutia to Babiš is just over a second. But again, those Lincoln codes have got decent pace today, haven't they? And Huff in 4th place. Then John Filippi in 5th spot as they come down now towards Mandarin. Huff pulls out and pulls back in again. He's right on the tail of Ted Björk as they come through that ultra-fast right-hander down towards Lisboa. There are the leaders, look for 3rd. Huff is close, but not close enough. And Babiš is closing up under braking once more, isn't he?
Frustrating for Rob Huff in 3rd place. Frustrating, I think, also for Fred Babiš, who just had a little look at the lead going down towards Lisboa. Maybe just giving a false sense of security as to exactly what he's going to be planning on doing for the remainder of this race. 6 out of 11 laps here for the Macau gear race for 2023.
And even with Mikuliš 9th, Huffy has still got to win the race, and he's still trapped in 4th position. Remember, we're up to 11 laps, though, because of those safety car laps. We're on lap 6 at the moment, and again, they've concertinaed for the race lead, so you can see the top 2 absolutely together there. Urrutia with Fred Babiš all over him like a fat pigeon on a chip as they come towards us, and in fact, now it's 6 for the lead, because you've got Filippi and El Lachet joining the party.
Do not expect me to speak after that. We've got a black and orange flag given to car number 22. So car number 22 receiving it, and that's Jan Tran in the number 22 car. Please warn me in future.
Sorry.
And the race leaders turn into the right-hander at police. Up towards Moorish they go. And Urrutia is driving a great race. Fred Babiš just had a little look on the outside going down into Lisboa. Baited the dummy, if you like, on the run down towards the overtaking zone. Through Donna Maria they go. The left-hander takes them down towards the Melco hairpin, and that's when the circuit opens up, and that's when the Audi of Rob Huff and Fred Babiš, they may be left a little bit breathless, wanting a little bit. It's going to be frustrating, this, for Rob.
It is, and ComTU need to start thinking cleverly about this. They've got to get him up the order, and part of that would be by, as I say, Babiš holding up Ted Björk and trying to get Rob to jump by. He's got to win the race, so the sooner they release him into 2nd place and let him go after Urrutia, the better, but it ain't happening. So slightly mystifying as to why they're not orchestrating it or how they could orchestrate it differently, but right now Urrutia is getting away. He's building that gap. It was 1 second last time, and now to the eye he's further ahead of Babiš, and yet as they come over the line, Babiš is a fraction nearer, would you believe? So 8/10, it's come down slightly. It didn't look as though it had, but Fred Babiš once more chases on behind the race leader, and Huff is going to have to do this fighting on his own, isn't he? Maybe if he gets up to third, Vervish will let him by. In the meantime, he's a bit busy fighting for the race lead, but the Audi doesn't have the pace on this part of the circuit, and this is the part of the circuit you need it because it's where you overtake.
Well, here comes Huffy. He's having a look. He was pretty close to the back of Ted Bjork this time, but not close enough as they turn into Lisboa. It's frustrating for Huffy. It is absolutely frustrating to not quite have the pace of the cars in front. Urrutia is driving a brilliant race, you know.
Yeah, hat tip to him. It's really impressive.
He's driving a team race this and doing a very good job. Now the two of them are in pairs in the top four. So a pair for the lead, a pair for third place as well. The Audi on this section has good pace, and all you need is one little error, and the whole complexion of this race could change.
Yeah, Urrutia has had victories this year in Portimao, at El Pinar in Uruguay. He had a win at Bathurst as well, but right now, Fred Vervish coming back at him. But again, here you see, Urrutia can just afford to relax a touch because it's so hard to overtake, and then he can wind it all up again when the road opens up coming out of Macau hairpin. So again, we said it over the weekend, you can stack the pack up behind you a little bit here, almost confident in the knowledge that it's unlikely anyone's going to really make a pass. He sits in the middle of the road, though, coming out of police just to cover off any effort by Vervish up towards Moorish, but they're absolutely nose to tail here. Fred Vervish is determined to find a way through, whether it's for his own win or to help his teammate. Time will tell, but the Audi is right back with the Lincoln Co.
He is around Donna Maria down towards the Melco hairpin. Meanwhile, Rob Huff is right on the tail of Ted Bjork. So for the Audis, they've had a good lap this time, and they are more in touch with the Lincoln Co's. They all bunch up together as they head around the Melco hairpin down through Black Sands. The circuit opens up. This is the speed part that historically during this race we have seen the Lincoln Co's stronger, but Fred Vervish is going with the leader.
This time he is, you're quite right, and he's got to try and stay in the draft all the way. Look, straight off, Urrutia goes to the inside to break the toe. Vervish doesn't go with him, but doesn't seem to have dropped too much time. Björk, in the meantime, is falling back a little bit, and Fred Vervish is really pushing now. I just wonder, as the race wears on, whether the 40 kilos aboard the Lincoln Co's is starting to tell, and maybe that's just affecting the tyre wear a touch, because now Fred Vervish's Audi looks like it's back at the races, doesn't it? Across the line, it was 0.378 of a second, and it's game on for the race lead now. Vervish goes to the outside line, and he's done it! Fantastic move round the outside into Mandarin. The testicularly enhanced Fred Vervish takes the lead on the outside line, and Huff is going to try and do the same for third, except he's under attack. John Filippi is right there as well. Don't overtake your teammate. Huff goes third. So, brilliant stuff for the Audis. All of a sudden, they've woken up those cars.
Hear the roar from the grandstand as Huffy went through and took third place. Absolutely superb stuff.
Except the plot spoilt a bit because Elache jumped ahead of John Filippi, but collectively, there's a lot more optimism now on the ComTU pit wall. So, Vervish leads.
That was quite a lap for the Audis, wasn't it? Rob Huff had a grandstand view of the lead changing with his teammate going in to the front of the field, and then he was able to make the move stick as well. So absolutely superb stuff for Rob Huff. Now, what's going to happen? Fred Vervish leads the race as a Lincoln Co in second place, and Urrutia has been driving very well during this race. Mouth-watering.
Easy, Fred. Easy, easy. Slacken off the pace. Let Rob catch up. Box up Urrutia. So now Rob Huff does have a chance to not just win the race, but the championship as well. And although Fred Vervish would love to win the gear race, he is a good Audi servant. So if there's an Audi driver to win the World Tour, then expect him to play ball. Look, Huff is almost with them here. Fred Vervish in the third sector of the lap, 4/10 slower than Huffy. So he's clearly allowing Rob to join the gang.
He's doing exactly what he needs to do. And how close can Rob Huff get to the back of the Lincoln Co? This is fascinating. What's happened? The bonnet's come up on Rob Huff's car. He can't see a thing. The bonnet has come up on Rob Huff's car. You couldn't write the script for this. He can barely get around the Melco hairpin. I don't know how he has.
He's going to have to pit, of course, but that's the dream over. Rob Huff's bonnet suddenly has come up. Did he tag the back of the Lincoln Co and that did some damage?
He was close.
But either way, Rob Huff now peering through a tiny gap. He's heading for the pit lane, and Norbert Mikelish is going to be the World Tour champion come what may, because Rob Huff is going to have to pit, and after all of that, what it now does give us is a fight between Vervish and Urrutia for the win. This battle pack is for third place, and your heart goes out to Rob Huff, because all of a sudden what should have been his title is going to be a pit stop.
After all of that, the roar from the grandstand, Huffy was on his way, and then all of a sudden the bonnet came up. It was just so peculiar. We were looking, we were on board, all of a sudden the vision was gone. What's happened? The bonnet's come up. Goodness me, Rob Huff.
Like you say, you can't write it. Macau is always a venue with something up its sleeve. There's always a sting in the tail. So Rob Huff to the pit lane. Verviche leading now by just under half a second from Urrutia. Now Jan Elaché is up into third place, and the bonnet is all distorted on Rob Huff's car. It's not just up, it's up and twisted. It's going to be a long stop to sort of hammer that back into place. But he's going to rejoin in last, and that does not reflect his ability in his race.
I'll tell you what, I don't know how he got back to the pit lane. I mean, that's pretty incredible. When they say that a driver knows this circuit like the back of your hand, you would need to. The team go to work, but as far as the championship is concerned, it's gone. It's all over, and the cracked windscreen is the legacy of that bonnet flying up as well. Heartbreak, heartbreak, heartbreak for Huffy.
Did he tag the back and that just broke the pins?
He was very close.
Yeah, maybe that was it. Maybe it was just a tiny touch, but yeah. And again, it's one of those things you could never legislate for. How many times do we see touring cars tap the tail of another, and that doesn't happen?
Yeah.
And the one in a million time that you don't want it, it's what happens, and it ruins the race and the championship for you. But Fred Verviche then potentially is going to be the gear race winner and add his name to that list of touring car greats.
And he did everything he had to do for the team. He was going according to plan. Everything was right. We saw Huffy and Fred together at the museum. They go on really well. There's a lovely relationship between the two of them. And so even to the extent that Fred was on the motorcycle simulator, Huffy was taking the pictures. He was doing the video while he was doing that, and shouting out advice as well. But oh dear, you can do everything, can't, and then something like that happens that you just cannot predict.
Well, Fred Verviche, in a sense, will be pretty pleased. You could argue about that. Yes, he's mates with Rob, but it does mean he's going to win the race, potentially now, because he doesn't have to sacrifice himself for a teammate. Jan Elaché is up into third. Now, that's a remarkable result. Yeah. The car, don't forget, bounced off the barrier early on, so he's the second of the 4 Lincoln Co's, but he's some way back from Urrutia here. So
they continue on their way. They complete now 9 laps complete for race leader Fred Verviche in the Audi. A 2:30.555. Fred has just put in the fastest lap of the race at the front of the field. He's pulled away from Santiago Urrutia in second place. Jan Elaché driving a superb race this, third place, and Jan Elaché is putting in overall best sectors as well. But I can't stop thinking about Rob Huff down in pit lane.
I'm just wondering which of the many Belgian beers Fred Verviche will be finding to celebrate a gear race win if it does pan out his way. He's ahead of Santiago Urrutia in second place, Jan Elaché in third, then it's Bure, Ma and Girolami to round out the top 6.
And a replay of what happened to Rob Huff. A little tap. It was a little tap. And a little tap that did so much damage, because then the bonnet flies up, the windscreen is broken, the game is over, and it's heartbreak for Huffy.
So did Urrutia back off just a little bit too much, or was Rob so keen to get on with the race that he was just that fraction too fast, too close? Well, they'll argue that out between them, no doubt. But what it does give us is the Kumho Audi of Fred Verviche in the lead. 1 more lap to run at the end of this. He is set to become the gear race winner. And as the race leaders work now, lap 10, it's an 11-lap race, 9 originally, but because of that safety car period, the race elongated to compensate for the lost laps, as it were. Well, we promised you drama. That is what we have had. Norbert Mikulich up into 8th place and cruising to a championship, not getting involved in any battles, any drama, just banking the points. Thank you very much.
Doesn't have to. The work was done yesterday, taking the race win. It set the scene for the finale. It was a tall order for Rob Huff. It was going according to plan, but the tiniest of touches, it was just a little tap, and that was what spelt the end of the championship hopes for Rob Huff, a former World Touring Car champion, crowned here at Macau. Norbert Mikulich is going to add his name to the trophy for the first ever TCR World Tour. 10 out of 11 laps complete, and we are about to go on to the final lap. Fred Babish crosses the line, goes on to the final lap of the race.
And with Audi Sports' customer racing programme coming to an end at the end of the season, you could say that it's a fitting winner, really, in Fred. He's been, as I keep saying, so good for Audi, whether it's been in GT cars or touring cars, very versatile, jumping from 2-litre touring cars to GT3 machinery week after week, and to bow out with a victory in this would be a fitting result, I reckon.
I wondered if Paul Jeffrey was going to go a word from Rob Huff down in the pit lane. The fact that we have not had a word would suggest absolute disappointment for Rob Huff.
I think he's back out and circulating.
Oh,
actually.
is he?
Yeah, I
he's
think he's gone back out, yeah.
They'll put the car back out on track. The unfortunate tale for Rob Huff is the joy for Norbert Mikulits in 8th place, because all he has to do is stay where he is for the remaining lap, on board with Norby, and a race winner yesterday, 8th place today. You won't be worried about that. It's the points that matter. And with his closest rival in the championship having that moment with the bonnet coming up, the windscreen being broken, I tell you what, visibility is not going to be great for Rob. It's one thing to take down the bonnet, but that spider-webbed windscreen is going to be very, very tricky for Rob.
And of course, although you sit very low, you could just about peer through the little gap at the bottom. There's no way he could have carried on in the race. So, so frustrating. That little tap in the back, enough to break the bonnet pins. The bonnet flies up, and ultimately, therefore, Rob Huff's race, and more importantly, you can say championship aspirations, disappear. But Fred Babish now, having battled his way into the lead, is still going to rock out a deserving winner of the Macau gear race for 2023.
Yep, Fred Babish did everything that was required of him as far as the team was concerned, as far as the points were concerned for the TCR World Tour, and he's going to take a win. So he is going to take the prestigious win for the Macau gear race, race 2 of the weekend. But the points go the way of Norby Mikulits in car 105. He's going to take the title at the end of this, so there will be multiple celebrations down in pit lane, not only for the race winner, Fred Babish, who heads up towards the final turns on the gear circuit here at Macau, and the checkered flag is ready. It waves for Fred Babish. He takes the win for the Macau gear race here on Grand Prix Day for the 70th Macau Grand Prix. Fred Babish is the winner. Santiago comes in 2nd place. Jan Elache in 3rd place. Ted Bjork, Marcin Hoa, we didn't speak about him, did he? In 5th place. And Girolami completes the top 6. Felipe and Mikulits takes 8th place, takes the checkered flag, which prompts the celebrations down in pit lane. Gabriele Tarquini getting involved in that, leaping up and down, and there we go. That's what it looks to take a world title. And cool, calm and collected, just a thumbs up from Norby in the car.
Well, that, in terms of all the drama at the front, that was one of the most understated drives to win a championship, because initially he was banking points, and just as it was about to get interesting for the strategy at Audi, with Huff in 3rd and drawing closer to Babish, then it all unravelled. So we never really saw what Mikulits might have been able to do to try and fight for places, but the instructions from the pit wall very clear. Bank, 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 and that is what he did. But you've got to feel for Huff, you've got to feel for Kumho. That said, well done Fred Babish, because that was a good drive.
So celebrations will take place down in Park Fairway in a few moments. For every loser, there is a winner as well. And Norby Mikulits wins the title at the end, and lights up the tyres for the Fred Babish car on the run towards San Francisco. He's enjoying this, isn't he? Goodness me. Absolutely lights up the tyres on the Audi.
Good little battle there. Deng Bao Wei getting ahead of Yan Chuang right at the very end. So those two squabble to the line. But yeah, Fred Babish, as you say, celebrating. I think I'm right in saying that's his 1st win of the year. So he's been on the podium, but he hasn't been a race winner. So you can understand that it matters. And of all the places to score that 1 win of the year, we're better than here. But the Hyundai team, the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa, are champions.
They certainly are, and you can tell as well, smiles on the faces down in pit lane here at Macau. Celebrations for Norby Mikkelits in a few moments when he gets down to Parc Fermé. Just the cool thumbs up to the marshals, to the crowds, and there are plenty of them here. And it is a controlled celebration for Norbert Mikkelits. Let's see how controlled that is when he sees the joy and elation for the team when he gets down to Parc Fermé. And yeah, he's pressing on now, wants to get back. A bit of urgency, bit of a celebration to enjoy.
Yeah, the driver's always the last one to join in, of course, because the mechanics, the engineers, the teams, they can all celebrate straight away, and the driver has to wait and wait. The Spa 24 hours, these days, the podium is in the village opposite Danato Rouge, and many of the winning teams are up in the F1 pits, and so it's a long time before they get down to join the driver that does the last stint. You see Rob Huff rather disconsolately walking back, but his teammate Fred Verviche is the man who has won the gear race. He's won the last race within Kumho TCR World Tour, this event of Macau, and for his maiden victory, his sole victory of the season, he will be a very happy man indeed. We've seen him busy this year in GT3 machinery for Audi, and in touring cars as well. Good drive and a really fascinating race, full of drama, full of talking points all the way through.
Yep, so the drivers making their way back to pit lane. There will be multiple podiums coming up. We will have, first of all, the top three in the race. It will be for the Macau gear race. Then we will have the trophy for the 2023 TCR World Tour in Macau. And then we will have the champions of the 2023 Kumho TCR World Tour as well. Top three all will be making their way onto the podium, including the winning team as well. So it's going to be a long trophy presentation for this one.
And of course, while that is going on, the man that was 8th will be celebrating a championship. There is Norbert Mikkelits. So the winning cars go to the scrutineering bay, and then the drivers will be brought to the podium, which is where the teams are congregating underneath, ready to cheer their driver. But Norbert Mikkelits down the pit lane. And to round out this inaugural season of the TCR World Tour. And it's been a good year. Some good tracks, some good racing, and good drivers within the entry.
Some superb tracks, really. Yep. When you look back to the start of the year, getting underway at Portimao, going to Australia, all around the world for the first ever TCR World Tour.
There, the champion is ready. Fabio Roaili from WSC Group, marshalling the drivers toward the podium. That's Norbert Mikkelits, who goes to scrutineering so they can check the champion's car. And the Elantra, the latest TCR mount from Hyundai. And Fred Verviche coming to the foot of the podium with his rear wheels locked to celebrate. He's absolutely delighted with that. At one point, I think he expected to be told, you're not going to win this, and then circumstances changed, and he is a race winner. The gear race is won by Fred Verviche.
And delighted he is, gets out of the car, and immediate celebrations, and so too for the TCR World Tour. The inaugural champion gets the moment to celebrate with the team that have been jumping up and down for the last 5 minutes. They have been waiting for their champion to arrive in Parc Fermé. Wonderful scenes down with the team, and it just makes it so clear it's not just about one driver that takes a world title, it's about all of the team. Hugs all around, celebrations down in Parc Fermé in the sunshine here at Macau, and these pictures going around the world, of course, for the supporters of a championship battle.
Drivers coming to congratulate him, others being commiserated with, but for Fred Verviche, there's Rob Huff just walking through the shot. Emotional times for the Audi Sport teams as the association with the brand comes to an end. Comteau heading to Aston Martin for GTs for next year. We'll see what happens in touring car terms, because although the cars would still be eligible, if Audi Sport isn't able to service the customers, then what do you do?
I think that with this car I can win.
So, words of congratulations from Gabriele, and
the party has started, hasn't it?
I think it has. It's going to carry on all afternoon into the evening. The prize-giving ceremony tonight here in Macau. And, of course, the parties will ensue. And there's the smile. There's the shot as well. And that's one for the family album, isn't it? Big smiles for Norby. And a podium to come in a couple of moments for the Macau gear race and also for the TCR World Tour. Let's hear from a very happy Norbert Mikulec down in the pit lane with Paul Jeffrey.
Kumho TCR World Tour champion. How's that fit for size?
Sounds good. I don't know what to say. I mean, on a day like this, on a circuit like this, with a team like this, I mean, what can you have more in life as a race car driver? So incredibly proud of the team, incredibly thankful to them. Car again was faultless today, and I'm just amazed, blessed, incredibly happy.
It's been an exceptional season. Tell me about the emotions that you're going through right now.
Yeah, it was a very difficult season, difficult year for me. It started very good, but we had some tough moments during the year. Competition was very tough, as you could see, but we did our best. So it was a roller coaster ride with being on the top at the end, which is always the best version.
Fantastic, Norby. Enjoy the moment. Thank you very much. Now back to our commentators.
Great to hear from a champion crown down in pit lane. He'll take the first step of receiving those trophies in a couple of moments' time on the podium here at Macau. Still a few moments down in Parc Fermé to share with family and friends and team as well. That's the winner's car down in Parc Fermé. Fred Babiche. Always feel a little bit sorry for race winners when they've won the race, but there has been a champion crowned as well, because maybe they don't get quite the coverage as they would hope for or expect. But you could see on the slowdown lap just how happy our race winner Fred Babiche was, lighting up the tyres around the gear circuit here at Macau. And Fred Babiche will be a very, very happy winner on the podium. And we'll see Norby Mikulec on the podium as well in the trophy presentation for the first ever Kumho TCR World Tour. This is the events here at Macau. And the back of Fred Babiche's car down in Parc Fermé, parked underneath the podium. New podium here at Macau for last year. Huge amount of space on the podium, and this massive screen at the back of the three podium steps allows the VIPs and the hospitality guests and the spectators in the grandstand opposite the start-finish line to keep in touch with all of the action right the way around the circuit. All the action, multiple cameras around the 6.1 kilometre circuit. Confirmation of round 20 of 20 for the Kumho TCR World Tour. Fred Babiche takes the win and did so in amazing style, 3.7 seconds ahead of Urrutia, Santiago Urrutia in second place, Jan Elaché in third place, Ted Bjork in fourth place, Marcin Roy in fifth place, Girolami in sixth place, Felipe and the all-important Norbert Mikulec in eighth position and taking the TCR World Tour event crown. Right the way down the order, we had in total 13 finishers, and with the podium standing by, we will very soon get the podium presenters out. As we say, 3 podiums coming up for the Macau gear race. And that's the winner's car being pushed back into place just underneath the podium to get exactly the right place for the shots. And confirmation of the standings. Jan Elaché finishing 10 points behind Norbert Mikulec in the championship, and Rob Huff still there in the podium positions for the championship, but without the top step of the podium, Rob's going to be very disappointed indeed. as he will take his place on the championship podium. It's sunny here at Macau, and the sun will shine down on the podium presentations in just a couple of moments, ahead of 2 more races here on the gear circuit at Macau. One will be for the Macau GT Cup. That's due to get underway local time at 5 past midday. Local time now is 25 past 11. And then we will have, traditionally, in the build-up to the Macau Grand Prix, a parade of classic cars around the circuit. The circuit given up for the parade for about an hour to entertain the spectators, all packing the grandstands around the circuit, and not only entertain the spectators but also entertain the owners of a vast array of beautiful classic cars that will make their way around the gear circuit. What an opportunity that will be for a local driver, car owner, to be on the gear circuit here at Macau. And then we'll have the build-up to the Grand Prix. Local time gets underway at 3:30 this afternoon, and we'll have all of the build-up with the Lion Dance and the Dragon Dance ahead of the presentation of drivers, and then the start of the race over 15 laps here at Macau. So there's quite a lot to get ready for the podium presentation. The teams are in place already, cameras at the standby, and with multiple presentations, that's a lot of trophies to get. We'll have the top 3 for the Macau gear race, and our race winner adds his name to a mighty impressive lineup of drivers that have etched their name on the trophy. Fred Vavish will add his name to the likes of Alain Menu, Ivan Muller, Rob Huff. All of them have won here at Macau over the years. Joe Winkelhock, Emanuele Pirro. So many great names from the world of touring car racing have been winners here for the Macau gear race. And they will have their presentation first of all. Top 3 drivers will appear on the podium, and it will be the Executive Director of Sands China Limited, Dr. Wilfred Wong, joined by the Executive Vice President of the Corporate Office of Galaxy Entertainment Group to present the trophies for the Macau gear race, Mr. Buddy Lam. So both of them will appear on the podium behind the scenes. Top engineers from around the world have been working on the TCR World Tour, and it will be, as I say, a reasonably long wait to get all of the personnel in place. Fairly simple to do the podium for the Macau gear race and then the trophy for 2023 World Tour in Macau. The driver's the same, just we add the representative of the winning team, and we are about to have a look back at the highlights. Celebrations for Norbert Mikulec, celebrating the top step of the podium for the championship, for the TCR World Tour event, and we are just about ready to see those celebrations act out on the podium here at Macau. We're ready for 3 podiums. The first one includes the national anthem
Ladies
for the
and
winning driver.
gentlemen,
Here we go.
welcome to the 70th Macau Grand Prix, Macau Gear Race Kumho TCR World Tour event of Macau Race 2 trophy presentation ceremony. We will be presenting 2 sets of trophy at the ceremony, including the trophy for Macau Gear Race and trophies for 2023 TCR World Tour in Macau. First of all, let's welcome our top 3 finishers to the podium. On second runner-up, number 168, Jan Alaka from France. Congratulations to the driver. Congratulations. And on first runner-up, number 112, Santiago Urrutia, the driver from Uruguay. Congratulations. And at the top of the podium, our winner is number 122, Frederic Verveersch from Belgium. Congratulations. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the national anthem for the winner. And now I would like to invite the guests to present the laurel to the top 3 winners first. Let's welcome Dr. Wilfred Wong, President and Executive Director of Sense China Limited, to present the laurel to our top 3 winners. Dr. Wong, please. First of all, please present the laurel to our second runner-up driver. Thank you. And Dr. Wong, please also present the laurel to our first runner-up driver, please. And of course, laurel for our winner as well. Thank you, Dr. Wong. Please remain at the center and take a photo with our drivers. Please look to the front and let's take a photo with the guests first. Please look to the front, take a photo together first. Thank you. Thank you, drivers. Please remain here, and thank you, Dr. Wong. Thank you. And of course, after presenting the laurel, we are going to present the trophies for Macau Gear Race. I would like to invite our guests to present the trophies for us. Let's welcome Mr. Buddy Lam, Executive Vice President, Corporate Office of Galaxy Entertainment Group, to present the trophies to our top 3 winners. First, the second runner-up, Jan Alaka. Congratulations. And to our first runner-up, Santiago. Last but not the least, Mr. Lam, please also present the trophy for Macau Gear Race to the winner, Frederic Verveersch. Congratulations. So please take a photo with our drivers. Please look to the front. Thank you. And I would like to invite the drivers, please remain here. And Mr. Lam also remain here. I would like to invite back Dr. Wilfred Wong to join this group picture together. Thank you very much. Congratulations. And yeah, the driver, you can reach to the top of the podium as well. Please look to the front. Let's take this photo together, please. Thank you. Once again, loud cheers to our top 3 winners. Please remain on the podium. Thank you, our guests. Thank you very much. Thank you. ask our drivers to remain on the podium because we are going to also present the trophy for 2023 TCR World Tour in Macau. And for our winning team, I would like to invite the representative of the winning team to also come up to the stage and receive the trophy. And the winning team is Audi Sport Team. Come to you. Let's welcome Francois Verbes. Welcome, gentlemen. And now I would like to invite the guest, Mr. Pon Wan Kun, President of the Sports Bureau and Coordinator of the Macau Grand Prix Organizing Committee, to present the trophy for 2023 TCR World Tour in Macau to our drivers and the winning team. Congratulations! And Mr. Kun, please also present the second place driver trophy. And of course, to our winner driver. Thank you. Last but not the least, would Mr. Poon please also present the trophy and the laurel to the winning team. Audi Sport Team, come to you. Congratulations. Please gather at the center and take a photo together. Thank you. To all drivers and winning team representatives, please look to the front. Take a good picture together. All right, one more at the center, please. 請局長繼續稍為留步，我哋再影多一張嘅。Thank you, team. Please again remain on stage. Thank you, guests. Thank you very much. First of all, thank you, Francois. Thank you very much. And with top 3 drivers, please remain because it's the champagne shower time for our winners. Again, it's the time to let our audience, the team, to share your happiness. So once again, to all the audience, let's give a loud cheers to the winners! Woo! Congratulations! Thank you very much. Drivers, please again remain here at the podium for some questions. So now I would like to pass the time to Chris to ask some questions for our drivers, share their feelings. Chris, please.
Thanks very much. Let's go in reverse, or let's start with Jan Erlacher. Jan, it was always going to be tough from the reverse grid from 8th place. You gave it everything, got all the way up to 3rd place. Championships don't get much closer. It could have been any one of you, Rob, Norbert. It's been such a good year.
Yeah, it was a good year. First of all, big thanks to all the team. You know, it's very tough doing a championship like this, going to continent, and very thankful as well to my teammates that helped me a big part of this season to be here now. So no, it's really nice feeling to come here in Macau. Every fans and spectators are very welcoming here, and the place is just amazing. And being here, fighting for the championship is a childhood dream, you know, and I've been watching Ivan, my uncle, doing this for years and years, so being here today make me quite proud, and yeah, we will celebrate tonight now with the team. It's nice to finish second in championship. We were chasing first, but we gave everything we had in this race.
Terrific effort. Well done to you, Jan. Santiago, let me come to you next. Oh, for so long, my friend, I thought you were going to win that race. You led for most of the race, but a really good effort to finish second.
Yeah, it was my first time in Macau, so it was good to learn for next year. And what to say? I mean, it's just, you know, when you start in the pole, you want to win, but you cannot win every time. And we were lack on speed on the straight, and I did my best, but without having the toe at the front, it was difficult. So I ended up second. It was a year with up and downs. We won the team's championship, and to Hyundai, congratulations, guys, to win the drivers' championship. And I think, you know, it is what it is. It's racing. That was the last race. Now it's time to summer break in my country, winter in Europe. But we'll get ready for next year. It's going to be a tough one, as always. So thank you to Cyan and Lincoln Co. for the great effort they have done. We ended up last race in the podium, so now it's time to rest with the guys and enjoy a little bit of Macau.
Enjoy your break. Well done to you. Fred, fantastic drive. There was a lot going on in that race. You were trying to win it. I think you were trying to help the team and help Rob as well. But once you pulled the trigger, talk me through that move. You really lined it up at the end of the lap before, I think.
Yeah, I was in a better position than the lap before, so I knew I had a chance, and he tried to defend well. I think that was all very fair, and target was to be P1, and then obviously the only goal for me personally and also for the team and for Audi Sport was to help Rob as much as possible, and we were very close. And that's why also I have very mixed emotions. I'm very happy to be Macau winner because it's very special. It's the most special race of the year. But on the other hand, yeah, we lost a lot as well. So it's a shame, but I think we fought very hard. And again, a big congrats to come to you, to our guys, to our team spirit, and to Rob, who in my opinion really deserved to win the championship.
Well driven, fantastic drive. Give it up for your race winner, Fred Bavish.
Thank you, Chris. Congratulations once again to the top 3 winners. So to our audience, may I again have your attention to our trophy presentation podium, because upcoming we are going to also present another set of trophy, which is the champions of the 2023 Kumho TCR World Tour. So welcome our Greek girls here first. Now I would like to invite our top 3 winners to the podium. On 3rd classified driver, Rob Huth. Congratulations. Congratulations. On the 2nd classified driver, Jan Alaka. Once again, welcome the driver on the podium. On top of the podium, the champion of champions of the 2023 Kumho TCR World Tour, Norbert Michelin! Congratulations! What an exciting, spectacular moment. And now I would like to invite our guests to present the trophy for us. First of all, let's welcome Mr. Chong Kok Vang, President of the Automobile General Association of Macau, China, and coordinator of the Sporting Committee of the Macau Grand Prix Organizing Committee, to present the trophy to the 3rd classified driver. Thank you, Mr. Chong. Now I would like to invite Mr. Marcello Lotti, the President of WSC, to present the 2nd classified driver trophy. Thank you, Mr. Lotti. Last but not the least, let's welcome Ms. Christine Lam, Vice President of the Sports Bureau and Deputy Coordinator of the Macau Grand Prix Organizing Committee, to present the champion trophy to Norbert Michelin. Congratulations. For all the guests, please gather at the center and take a photo together, please. 有請咁多位嘉賓，我哋向中間移步，跟住一齊影張合照嘅。Of course, to our winners, reach to the top of the podium and take this photo together. So Norbert, would you like to raise up the trophy to take again? Thank you. Thank you very much. Please look at the center front for one more picture. Thank you very much to all the guests. Thank you. And once again, loud cheers to congratulate our winners. Thank you very much. Here on the podium are the champions of the 2023 Kumho TCR World Tour. Thank you very much.
So a champion crown.
So drivers, please gather at the center and take one more photo.
Enjoying the trophy presentation, and joined on the podium by Jan Elashay.
It's definitely the spectacular moments for our winners. Congratulations once again.
And leave the podium, off to the press conference here at Macau, taking nothing away from our race winner, from Fred Bavish, enjoying his moments on the top step of the podium, writing his name into the history books for the Macau gear race here around the 6.1 kilometre gear circuit at Macau. And that was how the title was decided here in Macau for the Kumho TCR World Tour of Macau, the
Attention
Macau
in the paddock.
Gear Race.
Macau GT Cup.